Uh, Hello, hi everyone. Welcome again to another episode of what we call OK Boomer. After a long time, I think after months, we are back together. Shankar and Body are sitting together in the same room, which rarely happens. Um, we thought we'll use this occasion to just chat about some recent trends and how AI is having an impact in all of our lives, all of our career, all of our thought process and what we want to do. It's more of a casual chat. Let's get into it. Shankar, to begin with, you are, I think you quit your job recently and you are trying to explore the next stage in your life. But coincidentally, AI is also a buzzword, and I think every product, every industry is changing now. First, what is top of mind for you?
What is top of mind? I mean, from a personal perspective, figuring out what I want to do next. That's top of mind. But I think one realization is everything is new and there are like new paradigms emerging, and most people don't know, like, or are learning how to use those paradigms and build new solutions. Right? For example, every day you hear about a new technique that probably makes retrieving uh, answers from a knowledge base better, or a new technique that uh, makes it makes agents decide better on what tool to pick. For example, right? Every day things seem to be changing, and it feels like the only way to like learn is to actually go and tinker with things as opposed to like managing people or like strategizing. I mean, all that is important, but I mean the way I was thinking about it recently is uh, I feel like one of my core skills is understanding user experience and design, and the only way I learned it is by tinkering with all sorts of applications and tools in school, right? So back then obviously I had a lot of time. I wasn't worried about income, so I could come back from school and like sit and like play with applications, uh, tinker with applications on my Windows computer. And I think, yeah, and I think that's how I learned UX. Like, huh? Digit over chip. I mean, maybe because chip was never available in my hometown. Uh, so yeah, so I think just like how you watch 1,000 movies and learn what is good versus bad, and just like how, like, I think it's more important to be a practitioner or a builder in this era to actually keep up and learn new things, because there's no other way to learn. Yes, you can read a lot of things, but
Hmm.
unless you actually build things out, you you don't know what works and what doesn't work. The other thing is, uh, I am 33 years old, so, and I have like a baggage of experiences that make me look at problems the way I've always looked at them.
Hmm.
But given what is possible today, uh, for example, every time I think of a product spec, I think of structured objects. Okay, let's say I'm doing CMDB. I'm thinking of an asset object. I'm thinking of like a user associated with asset. All of those are basics. But there are like lots of new problems that now can be solved even when you have like unstructured information, which weren't previously solvable. So orienting your thinking around, hey, how can I actually build creative solutions for problems that were previously unsolved? Uh, I think that is really like a challenge for someone who's older,
Hmm.
than someone who is like new and fresh with no experiences at all. So yeah, I think that's what I'm seeing. So you have, I am trying to see, can I build something meaningful in this new era, and trying to see if we can build sustainable revenue. I'm doing this with a friend, Siddharth. Uh, while doing this, the challenge is, hey, how do I look at things with a fresh eye? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
Someone's at your door.
Yeah, I did பண்ணோம்.
This is totally unscripted. Um, okay, while he gets the door, see, body to you, right? You've been recruiting for a very long time, and you are the ones who's seeing a lot of undergrad people who graduate and then join the workforce, which seems to be the most impacted um, like set of people when AI is taking over a lot of manual work or L1 kind of work, right? How are you seeing this? Are you really seeing the impact ground?
I am seeing it in like different patterns. I think it varies from region to region, right? Like probably US is probably impacted a little more than the rest of the world because AI adoption and in general the depth in which AI has penetrated the industry is a lot higher there. So it's a very bad time to be a student right now, right? Like it'll take another couple of years for the technology today to reach a stable state. It is still, I would say that we are still in the early days of the evolving days of AI. So it's not arrived at a stable state yet. Once it arrives, I think eventually jobs will evolve, right? Like so today, a lot of jobs today that exist may not be required tomorrow in the way they are. Like I'm not saying that jobs will be gone completely. The way or the role itself will change, and I look at AI as a enabler, as a tool, right? Like one of the things that my professors taught me when I was studying design in design colleges, they said design is not a role, design is not a domain, right? Like design is a skill. So you have to figure out where to apply design and where it adds value. Similarly, I think AI is a skill. Uh, AI is not a role, right? Like AI is what makes you do something that you already do better or differently, right? Like today, if you're a developer, with AI, you can probably write more code, you can probably write cleaner code, or you can do more with less time, all of that. That is the uh, that is still something that the world is struggling to wrap its head around because we are not used to it. Like Shankar said, right? Like the way things are evolving, these are very new, and it's a complete like paradigm shift to what we are used to.
Got
Uh,
it, got it.
my 2 cents on this is I think AI will become a like a table stakes of sorts where everyone will have to learn and everyone will be enabled on how to use or how to uh, get themselves to do their role with AI, and there will be some parts of AI infused into every role. That will uh, happen. I mean, that's already happening, in my opinion. The second thing that I think is AI will help a lot of non-technical people a lot more than it will help technical people. Like the AI today is able to give like equal footing to people who don't know how to do a lot of things, and a developer writing code versus AI writing code, obviously the developer will be better, like beyond a
Mm,
certain point, but up to a certain degree. Like if it is not so complex or not so complicated, AI will always be able to do it better and faster than the actual human, right? So for basic, minimal, like low complexity tasks, I think AI will be a like it will help a lot of non-technical people get onto even footing with developers. But
okay,
beyond
okay,
that complexity, it will be a completely different ballgame where like the developers will still be the ones who have more like ability to understand AI and troubleshoot and debug it more because today I don't think any AI will be 100% like infallible.
got it, got it. I'm sure it's getting there where AI can also troubleshoot and debug, but that's a couple of years down. Okay, let me ask you one question, right? So far, in the last 2 3 years, where whenever we ever since we've had that chat GPT moment in 2022, have you ever seen, hey, pre 2022 2021, we were hiring for some of the roles, and today those roles just doesn't exist, like not necessarily where you work but just in general in the industry. Are you
Is
seeing any
getting
role?
there are a lot of roles where your job is just manual repetitive tasks.
Can you
Like
give examples of some roles that you've seen that stopped hiring?
I
completely.
would say like manual testing is something that will eventually get phased out because AI can do it like with no human intervention. A
Mm,
lot of customer support roles will also be impacted because the basic L1 support, like answering chats or giving the first response, can still be automated, but eventually it will require some human intervention. So the number of people in such roles will change, and the complexity of tasks that a human will do will change. Like,
yep, yep.
I think in every role, it looks like I was talking to someone who heads customer support, and she started using a support product that has AI, and they're getting like 60% deflection, 55 or 60% deflection. And she said that's nearly the work of one and a half or two people, right? Now, she has to figure out what she can do with their bandwidth, right?
Mm,
Two people's bandwidth. That's on customer support. On the engineering side, what I've seen at Atomic Work is the basic bugs, basic issues, or like basic feature requests that you get from customers. You can basically like chat with Devin and fix it, right? Fix the basic issues, etc. If you're working on something bigger, it definitely requires a lot of back and forth with an AI solution, whether it's Cloud Code or anything else. So, but the basic fixing a basic bug is table stakes, right?
mm,
Uh, so again, if you notice what's happening in customer support and if you notice what's happening in engineering, the work that used to be done that you would preferably like give to an intern or something that would consume like an hour of your time or like half an hour of your time or 2 hours of your time. So like, some of the basic things they're going away. Uh, in marketing also, as long as you have like some ideas, you can put together at least the first draft of a blog post, or maybe it may not be a perfect visual, but you can convey your idea through like an imperfect visual very easily today. So I think in every role, people are becoming conductors of the work. They're like they're able to use AI tools to like orchestrate the work, and therefore at least the basic work, and therefore some of the roles, junior roles that we used to hire for were only like basic, who typically the juniors used to typically take on like basic things. All those roles seem at risk now. Things could evolve in a direction where even like a mid-level engineer's work could be orchestrated by a senior engineer or like a slightly engineering centric or not even an engineering centric product person. So essentially, it feels like if you know what to do and you know what to prioritize, you can shorten the execution time for what needs to be accomplished. Now, the challenge is that this is possible for others too. So if you're able to do it, someone else can
so
also do it.
I'll
Yeah.
give you two contrasting examples on why I think like the jobs will evolve and not necessarily go out of existence, right? Like uh, what Shankar is saying will be more seen or visible in smaller startups where if you are the founder and CEO, 20 years ago, you may have had to hire one person to do like engineering, one person to do say design, one person to do marketing, sales, all of that, right? Like today, if you have above average if you would rate yourself above average in any of these, you wouldn't have to make that first hire in those roles for quite a while because you will be able to do it yourself. Where, when I say yourself, you will be able to orchestrate it with AI and supervise AI. So, if you are able to dedicate bandwidth and time, AI can do it in a matter of seconds, minutes, hours, and it requires some time of you to do the quality control. But think of it in the other way, right? Like in larger companies, there are like dedicated designers whose job it is only to like create fancy decks for execs, right? Do you really think the exec will have time to sit and give prompts to an AI and do all of this? The exec will still have a designer doing all of this for them, right? So the context really matters, and like I don't think it is a blanket thing that will happen that all roles that are like this will get eradicated. It will get eradicated in areas where there is appetite for somebody else to do that work with minimal additional bandwidth required.
Okay, I'm following so far. See, the way I think about it, right? If I am early stages in career, again, if I graduated in the last 1 year, 2 year, uh, when I used to study, like if I graduated in 2022, 2023, what I studied for, how the industry was, the job we were, my seniors tried for and got, seemed to be very different from what it's there today. So there is a drastic shift in, I wouldn't say it's like one of the phrase that you mentioned, right, buddy? It's a tough time to be a student, or you said something like that. I would say it's like it's tough time, but as long as you have the skill set or you train for the skill that's relevant now, it's not that bad, right? But what do we do? Like I am not going to join as a L1 support anymore 3 years, 4 years from now. I should join as an experienced L3 support just right out of college.
How
So is
would
it
you,
even possible?
unless you go through level 1 and level 2, how will you reach level
That's
3?
where I'm getting to. Is it even possible? So
I
as
think the what I see as the change in dynamics is, so think of it like this, right? Like in any company, there are like three kinds of roles. Like there are core revenue tied roles, like roles which bring in revenue for the company. There are core roles that don't directly bring revenue but are R&D investments,
hmm,
and there are other roles which just support everything else. So the priority will always be the roles that are revenue generating.
revenue.
So
Okay.
today, any company will still and will continue to hire salespeople because one new salesperson means so much more revenue to be obtained. So what I think today will happen is there will be less scope for technical roles like development, all of that. There will be less scope for support roles like HR, finance, all of that. And there will be a lot more scope for sales and anything that is tied to revenue.
But I
Okay.
think the question is also okay. Like, let's say I am not a salesperson. I don't have the skills. I don't have the bent for it.
It's a tough time for you.
Yeah. So, what do you actually tell someone who, in the previous world, could have been like a junior support person or a junior engineer,
Yeah.
but now they don't have that exposure. They're out of college, and yeah, well, how do you get in? How do you break in? That's the question.
It will be a tougher time. You will have to figure out what companies are still hiring junior developers, junior support people, because there will always be places which hire, but
Hmm.
it will just be infinitely harder. Like you are thinking of it from our vantage point when we were looking for jobs, where you might like if you just search for a fresher engineering role or a fresher support role, you may have seen hundreds of job openings. It will not be hundreds today. It will probably be one or two.
Okay.
I
No, no.
think
So where I'm, I'm fundamentally thinking differently, body. See, okay, leave support or sales, right? In Shankar's world, if tomorrow he is hiring an engineer, right? I'm sure he doesn't need an engineer who
Ask him. He's
I
not
won't
ready to.
hire an engineer, but go on.
yeah.
I mean,
Like if you are in product role or engineering role, if you're hiring an engineer, like do you still go after people who know a structured way of coding and the functions and whatever we know, or are you just comfortable, hey, if this person can leverage AI and just build something out for me, I'm good, so I don't have to learn
I'll
structured coding anymore. All I have to learn is
speak
yeah,
first. I'll give my
yeah.
thoughts
Please,
later.
what you're saying. I think to answer your previous question, Ashwin, what should like someone, what should a junior do, right? What I was
yeah.
thinking is,
Like, I should I even learn something fundamental, or can I just use AI? Like, all I have to learn is just how to use AI and not
I
learn
think
fundamentals at all.
so. Earlier in the previous world, let's say we separate people as low agency, high agency, right? Low agency, you need to be taught something. You are going and applying for jobs, let's say, right? You don't take initiative, right? Versus high agency takes proactive initiative, doesn't wait for permission, uh, is always tinkering with things or whatever, right? So there were low agency people and high agency people, right? Now for a high agency person, for a low agency person, okay, let me refine my thoughts more clearly. I think a high agency person still had to put a lot of effort, to get things done in the real world or on the
Mm.
web. Um,
Yeah,
and the agency person had a chance. Now I think the low agency person has a much lesser chance, right? Anyone with medium agency or high agency, like, so okay, there's a lot of competition among people who will have medium and high agency, because both those kind of people can accomplish a lot more with these tools, right? So I think the only choice a junior has is to take initiative and do something, right? Now you could either build something, or you build a website. And I don't know about non-technology uh, companies, but yeah, build something with all these tools, put something together, bring people together, work on ideas. I think it's it's much harder to get hired as a low agency person. It gets much easier for you if you just switch your mindset and start doing something with all the tools available. Put your ideas out there, test it, go meet people, uh, like validate your ideas. I think the negative premium on low agency is really high now, right? And
got it.
the premium on high agency, medium agency,
So
yeah,
I,
probably is
I would
good.
say
Yeah.
that the low agency people are at the most disadvantage.
Yeah.
The medium agency people are actually at the best position today because AI can accelerate and get them on par with high agency people.
That's
So,
true.
like the high agency person is also losing his or her advantage because of AI.
Hmm.
So everyone is losing
That's
equally.
true.
The how far away they are to the goal matters. So if they're very far, they will continue to be far. But if they're not so far, they can get closer faster. That's what I think. The other thing that I wanted to say is like what Ashwin asked, right? Like, would I be open to hiring engineers who can just vibe code their way and figure things out? I would want at least one person who has fundamentals of computer science, like who understands complexity, networking, and like the general basics of how computers and software is built, because somebody
Okay,
needs to supervise them, right?
you're
Like,
saying it's still relevant.
so the ratio of people, like earlier, you probably needed like 60% or 70% of the team to be that, so that they can supervise and help those 30% scale up. Today, it will probably be you need only 10 or 20% of people who are like that, who can help the other 80 to 90%.
It's more or less similar, right? Even in our world of non-technical, where in sales you present a lot, you talk a lot. Even in customer success, you present a lot. Initially, we used to look at quality of presentations and how well your structured thinking is with the flow of how you run a call and everything. Today, a lot of that AI can just tell you. You just have to put in a scenario. You have to give in some information. You can pretty much get a very good looking slide with very little effort. So someone who can't even make a good PPT is now at a very good advantage if they just use the tools well. And even a non-call narrative, right? If you tell, hey, this is my scenario, this is how I'm going to run this call, tell me how I should structure the flow. AI will give you a good flow on how to run the call to make the call more effective, how you can get things from the customer, which used to be that skill set that we used to look for,
So,
right? How to
yeah,
execute, I think a lot of people can do, but strategizing that call, what to talk to the customer, how do you build a good narrative in that call, what story you tell, how do you build a good presentation, is all the qualitative things that we used to evaluate on. Now, like you said, people who don't have that skill set but can execute really well are at an advantage now.
I'll tell two different thoughts that I have. One is AI will actually be a game changer for a lot of people who were previously not finding it easy to get employed or were unemployable. Because think of the larger population who are tech illiterate, right? Like they still need support, right? Like vernacular support is one thing, and there are a lot of times where you may have the technical skills, but you may lack the soft skills required, right? Like AI can easily help you circumvent those. So, like 2 years ago, we may have interviewed a person who has all the right skills required to technically troubleshoot something, but their English may be broken, their English may communication skills may be not up to the mark. Today, they can still use AI to circumvent that and still be as good as the person who has good communication. So that
Mm.
opens up these jobs for a lot more people who previously would not have been would have had a tougher time finding jobs.
But then I think the other problem that I see, the other thing I notice is you can use AI to polish your whatever work that shows up, be it an email or a slide deck. But if you don't have depth, it definitely does show up later,
True.
right? Uh, it
It
feels like a
it
it
has to
feels like
be,
a
that's what
facade.
it's like. The my way of saying it is, it's like between 0 and 1, any number, if you try to exponent, it becomes lesser and lesser, but anything greater than 1, it becomes more and more. So your bare minimum is you need to have at least 1, like 1 and above. If you square it or cube it, it will become higher, but zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.5, if you square or cube, it will only grow smaller, it will diminish. So the AI can boost what you do if you know your basic right. If you don't know your basic right, it will make you worse.
I think fundamentally knowing the fundamentals in any job, knowing the basic skills that are required for any job, all of that is important. But just with that, it's getting harder to get jobs. Right? And that's what we're saying.
True.
And it is never going to be true that fundamentals are not important.
So the other thing that I will say is a lot more contractual or part-time jobs may probably spring up today, because like the need for hiring a full-time head and the justification to hire a full-time head in companies will slowly become tougher and tougher, right? And with AI, see, think of it this way: what value does a person have if they stay in a company for a considerable amount of time? They have context, they know how things work. If AI can, again, this requires a lot of maturity in terms of the organization to be able to document things and document things well. So if you have documentation on your code base, if you have documentation on, say, your product specs, on how it evolved, all of that, tomorrow you may not need that, that it will be easier for you to replace people fast. So anyone coming on contract for a short time can still pick up where somebody left off, work on it, and do their job and go. That is
Got
also a possibility that I think will happen sooner than later.
it. Basically, transitioning and ramping up people is an
No,
easier thing to do.
the thing is, you may not always need work that is always on. Like there will be temporary work which requires you to do, I mean, which requires somebody to do, where you can find people for short term assignments and they'll do it and they leave. And you'll still not be impacted much by it. It'll actually.
Okay, good chat. In concluding everything that you're saying, right? I'll gather my thoughts and conclude. But before that, one question to both of you: have you bounced any product recently that made you feel, "Wow, I didn't know a product can do this"?
I've been tinkering with AI products for a lot right now. So there's nothing that gave me what you said. But what fundamentally made me like all in with AI was a tool called Visili. It's I think you can create flowcharts and diagrams with it. So I've always thought of AI as a layer that is added on top of a basic tool. Like we are so used to non-AI software that you always think that AI can be used as a layer on top of what you already know. Like let's say you're a designer, you use Photoshop. Photoshop can be enhanced with AI effects. So I would still, my workflow, my thoughts will always be, hey, I will use Photoshop to create something. I will feed that input to an AI tool. It will give me an output. I can still tinker on it on my Photoshop. Visily was the first tool that I used that helped me realize that AI can be infused into tools. So you can actually build software that changes the way your workflow itself behaves, and which therefore also will change the way you think. Like fundamentally, all of us need to rewire our brains into thinking AI first, than how do we like traditionally use software and then say use AI to AI as a shortcut or a catalyst to do things faster.
Got it. Whistly.ai, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Shankar?
On my side, I mean, I think it's the basics. Okay, Claude Code. I don't use it, but Siddharth was using it, and we were trying to build like an MVP of an MVP of like an extremely basic solution for a problem that we identified, and we were basically like some businesses try to have like a multi-page flow on their website where you can choose products, the pricing changes based on some of the products that you choose, the discounts that applied change based on the products that you choose, etc. Right. So there were a lot of people on Upwork who were hiring freelancers saying, "Hey, I have an Excel sheet. It's basically a code calculator, but I want this as like an app so that I can put it in front of customers or use it for my internal employees so that it's easier to calculate codes." Right. So we took an Upwork post, the description of that post, probably edited a sentence, not more. We sent it to Cloud Code, and I think whatever it came up with was brilliant. Right. So we actually like US has these roofing home services businesses, right? People who install roofs,
Yeah.
repair roofs.
Yeah.
So there was a business that is actually like selling to just roofers. And so, okay, basically the solution this came up with was, hey, okay, in the solution that it came up with, one of the pages had a Google Maps embed where as a user, I can select like four edges or five edges and draw a shape, and then the size of the roof, the area of the roof will be calculated against the prices that I've provided in the prompt, and then I'll get like a final quote, right? I was blown away by that because even for a mid-level engineer, it takes like a while to code such an experience that's not just multi-page, has a Google Maps embed, works seamlessly. You can have like polygon selection within the Google Maps embed, calculate area. It's not like extremely simple work, right? But in one shot, we were able to bring that live with Cloud Code. Siddharth actually set up an environment where we could enable people using our app to do it through Cloud Code and Cloud Code, and I think that blew me away. That's one. Two, ChatGPT is generally what I'm realizing is it gives you tunnel vision, like it makes you repeatedly believe in the things that you already believe in.
ChatGPT is is the best yes man. Like if you want someone to just
Yeah.
say yes to everything you say, and like say you are the best, yes, wow, what a ChatGPT is the best tool for that.
But what I like is if I ask it to identify patterns in conversations I've had, and what are the things I should focus on, I'm not focusing on. Where am I doing well? Where am I not doing well? It is. I
By
mean, it says
default,
you see.
ChatGPT no,
Yeah, it won't.
by default ChatGPT has very people pleasing tendencies. You have to keep nudging and prodding and saying, "Hey, tell me what I'm bad at. Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah,
Tell me what are my blind spots. Tell me what I'm not seeing." You have
yeah.
to
I start doing that.
make it so negative for it to respond with logical answers.
Yeah, I just like that part of ChatGPT where when I ask for negative or critical feedback about myself, it gives that feedback based on the conversations I had. I mean, the third answer, probably my favorite product. I don't know if they use AI. I've not read about this. I should. But Whisper Flow. So I work from home, but I don't know where. Like, I've not read about it. They probably do. But yeah. So, but there's a lot of apps that put AI on packaging. Today, someone posted on Instagram that there's a golf bat with a golf bat or something. I think it's called Storm or something. Storm AI. Okay, that's bad packaging, but yeah, I'm sure this uses AI. But don't judge me for not knowing this. But I can dictate. I'm too lazy to like type long prompts, and when I'm at home, I can just press the function key and dictate anything that I want, and the voice to text is really fast. Mac has a dictation feature, but I've always felt like it's super slow or it doesn't understand some words in Indian accent. But Whisper Flow gets it really, really well. And even for complex things, I've like complex 5, 6 sentences, instead of typing, I've just started asking. I mean, I've just started dictating it after activating Whisper Flow through function A, the function key. I think, yeah, they make 50 million or something. I was reading. But yeah, I really love that product. What is it for you, Vashwin?
Nice, nice. Now, for me, more than product, you see, for us in my job, we use a lot around just summarizing meeting notes. Everything is inbuilt into all the tools we use. So every single tool that we've been using even the last 10, 15 years, be it screen share, be it call recording, it used to be a you have to record and then listen and then analyze, or even come up with notes, come up with what are the action items from every single person. A lot of that, every tool that we're using now has an AI built in, so
Love
everybody,
Zoom AI companion.
there's no notes taker, there is no one needed to take all those notes, so that's been super helpful. But one thing that's, like, for me, what gave me wow moment in the last few months is how amazing the videos are. Like, whoever is making all those reporter asking some questions to old
Yeah,
people,
that's
or
fine.
like those types of the prompts that they use there. And even in general, like the videos that are coming out from AI prompts are just too good. Like, so again, coming back to whatever we were discussing, right? Lot of, see, that industry or how those videos would have been made in the past would have had so many people work, edit, uh
I know the
record.
time and effort it takes.
Yeah. So we know how much time just a simple editing takes, but if it can be done with a prompt, you just set it, and then if AI can generate it, it's a lot of time and human manpower energy saved. But it's also those jobs that don't pay that anymore. I've recently seen, I don't know if it's some YouTube video or some documentary somewhere, Adobe is also losing some market share because pre AI, it used to be very, that industry used to be very enterprise heavy, right? Where you have full on Photoshop editing, After Effects editing, that used to be a big industry to work out of. They were good with SaaS modeling, SaaS pricing, cloud pricing, and everything. But with AI, a lot of small tools are able to edit your videos pretty easily, right? So I don't have to overpay for Adobe anymore. I don't have to subscribe for those licenses. It's also a skill set. Like learning Photoshop is a skill by itself. Learning After Effect editing is a skill by itself, which is not needed anymore. So the reason I asked that question in the past, right? Do you still need those fundamentals?
I will say
I
that I know how to use Photoshop, I know how to use After Effects. If you don't, I can still use AI better than you. That is the edge that I will have. But it is the last mile, right? Like 80% of what
Correct.
you do and 80% of what I do will be the same. The last 20% is where what I've already known will help. So I would rather rephrase it and say, like, AI will not eradicate jobs. Like, if people are afraid that, this job will go away, think of it like this, right? Like, work is never going to stop. Like, the world is built in such a way that, like, capitalism will drive more work to happen, right? So people being unemployed is an opportunity for the world to create more jobs for work to be done. So AI will probably create a lot more new jobs that don't exist today. And the rate at which the new jobs get created will be more than the rate at which old jobs get redundant. Today, it doesn't feel that way because we have not reached that stable state yet.
Correct, correct, correct.
We are
And one
still
thing I would say, from
evolutionary
my,
phase.
yeah, sorry, my thought process or perspective here, right? I think a lot of us will benefit from having a fundamental skill set on something, but not able to get even to a second level, right? For example, any of us having a full-time job, we are more focused only on that because of the time and energy it takes, and the number of hours it takes for you to be very diverse in your skill set. um, in our world itself, I'm relating because we are doing this now. If I want to become a podcaster or build something with media, right? Edit or whatever. In the past, I cannot even think of it, because to get to a stage where I have to cross that barrier for entry itself needs another 6 7 hours every day for me to spend for a couple of years for me to get there, which I can't do because I have a full-time job. But today I can diversify my skill set, or what I uh, do. Like I can do one full-time job and also be good at something else, which used to be only sports for few people before, because that's the only thing you physically train on. There are very few people who did multiple jobs. Like someone can be doing a 9 to 5 and still be a full-time singer, playback singer, or a full-time run a full-time studio. But that used to be very very low. But I see that can become a norm. Like you have to be good in
I
multiple things.
I will say plus one to that, but I think the AI usage will be in their 9 to 5, and the extra effort that they need to get better at will be in their whatever vocational thing that they want to do. It will not be the other way around.
Okay, yeah. I think AI usage will be in both. Where I'm trying to get to is the second part. At least now I can see I have a path. Like in the past, like I can't even think of it because of the time it will take or the skill set that I would want to develop. Now, see, if I want to become a video editor or build a studio or build up whatever it is, I don't have to get into a lot of those fundamental things that will take a lot of time. Those are all taken care of for me. Or I can pretty much start at the second level.
I think if you have
It's
ideas, you are empowered now.
yeah,
You
more
can,
than before.
yeah, you can run with it.
Like
You can just
taking it to
run.
market is easy.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, but everybody, like in product, for example, if building is faster, then everybody else can get to that base level insight about users, then like anyone else can also do the same thing we are doing. So then the premium is on like actually finding more user insights and building like an extremely better differentiated solution. I mean, okay, I'm riffing, but
No, no, I get what you're saying. It's always true, but it's just more true now. Because
Basically,
now
anybody can dance. அந்த மாதிரி.
now more people can build. You have to really have a differentiator.
Yeah.
I know we didn't expect to spend this much time, but good chat. We'll do. I think this is a long enough chat to do 2 episodes. Maybe we'll chat some more, maybe in the next couple of weeks. But good flow, good thought process. Thanks,